Joining me now is a UFC featherweight fighter who takes on Raoni Barcelos at UFC Fight Night Boise this Saturday night. It is Kurt Holobaugh back on the program for the first time since last summer. Kurt, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time, especially just a few days out from the fight. I really do appreciate it. Considering it is Tuesday before the fight, it is fight week. It has begun. You traveled to Boise today. How did everything go? Get there all smooth and all that?
Yeah, the flights were smooth. Not too long of a flight, one layover in, I think, Denver. Other than that, we're here, got all checked in, got everything ready to roll. Now I'm just doing a little bit of relaxing. Might go get a little run in on the treadmill. Everything here right now is great.
And the weight cut, I know you fought at lightweight in the past. I guess I'll just ask you right off the bat. This is, of course, the featherweight fight. Do you ever see a future where you're back at lightweight? And, no matter what the answer is, how's the weight cut to 145 going right now?
You never know. You never know what the future holds. Right now, the weight cut hasn't really been bad. I put a lot of time into my dieting and my training and just trying to stay in shape. Right now I think I got here fully hydrated, and I weighed in right around 158-ish. That's pretty good for me, and I'm probably now under 155 already. It's not that bad, but certainly love fighting at 155, but we're going to take one fight at a time. We're going to take one fight at a time, one weight cut at a time, make sure everything keeps going smooth. And, if I keep knocking these guys out at featherweight, that's probably where I'll stay.
Fair enough. So you are, of course, coming off a knockout win over Matt Bissett way last summer. I believe it was the very beginning of July, so about a year ago exactly. That was on the debut event for Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. You won in the main event. You won in brutal fashion. You got the UFC contract, but unfortunately you haven't fought since then because of a suspension from the Nevada Commission you received. It was a 9-month suspension for IV use. How difficult has it been sitting on the sidelines for 9 months? Because I know you feel like the suspension should have been a bit shorter.
The fight I fought almost exactly a year ago, and it's kind of weird. Just being here feels like, I just fought last week. So I'm not feeling like any kind of ring rust or anything like that. I really don't think that that's going to have any kind of effect. I'm in great shape, ready to go. And, as far as, the IV and everything, man, it was an honest mistake made that I feel had no impact in the fight whatsoever. The fight only lasted halfway through the first round.
Right.
So just taking the 9 months off has just helped me just really prepare more. I got to sit back, not worry about anything, not have to worry about taking short notice fights or doing anything like that. I got to sit back. I was in the gym every day, working, and just getting better at everything.
So it wasn't at all difficult just knowing, hey, I'm training, but I'm still not going to be able to fight for at least 7 months from now or whatever it was at the time. Was it at all frustrating, maybe at the very beginning, or no?
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. The reason why is because I was so hungry. I just got this win off of the first episode and first season of the Contender Series, and, I got the win how I did. So, I was amped. I was pumped. I was ready to come right back off and get another fight. I wanted to stay in shape, and, that kind of derailed that. But, with that being said, I enjoyed my time off also. I had a lot of time to spend with my kids. I had a lot of time to spend in the gym, getting better. I had basically no worries. There was a couple times that I really started itching and really wanted to fight, but I knew my opportunity would come, and I knew everything happens for a reason. So I just stayed busy in the gym, and, here we are.
Interesting. And as far as you actually using the IV, I know, as you said, it was just sort of a mistake where you didn't realize it was policy under Nevada State Athletic Commission, which borrows from from the World Anti-Doping Agency. I'm curious, how did you not realize that? Were you just given wrong information? Did you not look at their policy maybe as close as you should have? Or how did you even get to this point where you didn't realize that using IVs wasn't allowed?
Well, I think it was a little bit of everything. Number one, the Contender Series isn't under USADA, so you don't have to enter the USADA testing pool. And my natural thought was IVs were only prohibited under the USADA program.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't think anywhere else. And I think I did have some false information if somebody did say I could use it. And, number three, there was never any kind of rules meeting saying, hey, these IVs banned, this is what you have to go by for the state. Nothing was ever out and said about it. So, I honestly didn't know I was doing anything wrong. Honestly, I didn't even need the IV. I made weight the night before comfortably. I think I cut 6-7 pounds easily, and the weight come off. I woke up the next morning, hit the early morning weigh-ins, weighed in, rehydrated. I didn't even need it. But I figured it's on the table. I can have it. Why not? If I can have it, and turns out that Nevada had a ban on it, and I didn't know.
It must be kind of ironic that had you never even disclosed it when you were, working with USADA after getting signed to the UFC, you were doing sort of the intro stuff, joining the testing pool, all that. They asked you, in a form, what have you done? What have you used? What have you not used? And you just declared, IV. Is it ironic looking back that had you just left it blank, no one would have actually found out?
Oh, yeah. If I wouldn't have never wrote it down saying that I used it, they would have never found out, So, and of course, I put my proteins that I was taking, maybe some fat burners that I was taking at the time, and also, trying to list rightfully everything that I put in my body. I listed the IV. So for them to come and give me that harsh of a punishment, like I just got popped for a PED or something, I thought was a little wrong. But it is what it is. And like I said, I truly believe everything happens for a reason. You never know what could have happened during that time if I was to get a fight. So, I like the matchup that I have right now. I feel good. My weight cut's going good. It just doesn't seem like anything in life right now can get better except for getting this win.
And just to clarify something about, because you were also given a form, I believe it was before the Bassett fight, where you had to disclose certain things, and initially you had checked off IV, and then one of the commission officials told you to uncheck it. Is that something that happened? And
yeah, that's when because we always got to do paperwork and stuff at the weigh-in. So
right.
I did. I checked the box for an IV because for one, I wasn't trying to lie about it.
Sure.
Because I didn't know it was prohibited or illegal. So, yeah, I checked the box that I was going to use an IV, and I think the guy come back and said, no, you need to mark this off. And I'm like, okay. But nobody ever said why.
Huh. That's bizarre. So you just left it as is, then you ended up not disclosing it before the fight. And no one made any deal of that, no one questioned about it. That's crazy.
Nope, it would have been nice for the guy to say, hey, IVs are prohibited here in Nevada. And I would have been like, well, thanks for that information. And I would have never took it.
I suppose he was trying to help you out, sort of, but, he didn't go the full way.
Yeah, maybe so. Like I said, it would have been nice if they could have went over the rules and told me what I could and couldn't do, or what they followed drug protocol-wise, but I don't know.
And 9 months, you feel like that was a little harsh?
I do. They could have gave me a fine, a few months less. I just think that the max, because I think I got the max penalty as if I was like a first-time offender for a PED. I'm like, that's not the example to set if, you're trying to make guys honest and, not take performance-enhancing drugs because I did not take a performance-enhancing drug. Yeah, it may have helped me rehydrate, but still, it's not like I went in deep into the third round and was still pushing hard, thinking that, that IV gave me that cardio advantage. The fight ended in the first round.
Now, with all this going on, of course, you've moved past it, but were you initially concerned that some fans who might just read part of the headline or might not click on the article might look at you as a cheater? They won't realize that, hey, you used an IV and it was by mistake and you didn't realize this and that, but they might just read, oh, Kurt Holobaugh is suspended and instantly and forever, consider you a cheater. Was that ever something that you were concerned about?
Yeah, most definitely. And there were a few articles out there that, kind of tried to label it like that. But, that's why me and my managers and my team, we came out, we gave a full statement, pretty much told exactly what happened and exactly the truth. And there was a lot of good articles written up about it also that pretty much explained everything. So,
right.
There's always going to be haters out there that's going to hate against you and, go against you. But, that's all guys basically that I've beat. Of course, their whole fan base is going to be haters. So that's basically all it is.
And I know your management team said right after you got the suspension back in October of last year, you planned on fighting it. Whatever happened to that?
I'm not really sure. I know they said they had planned on trying to fight it, but by the time
probably just wasn't worth it.
I got the suspension. Well, yeah, I don't think it was really worth it because by the time they fought it, it would have probably been 9 months anyways, and the suspension was going retroactive back to the day of the fight.
Right.
So it had already been about 4 months. So I think I only had about 4 or 5 months left on the suspension. So I guess they figured, okay, if we go back and fight this thing, it could take months. We have to bring up another hearing, open the case back up, and who knows how long that could take. So let's just take the time and use the time wisely and just get ready for after April because I think the suspension ended sometime in April.
Why are you fighting in mid-July and not, you could have fought, I think, after April 11th or something, or right around there. Would that have been more ideal than July? And if so, why are you not fighting, I guess, right away?
Well, I was ready to fight. Like I said, I was not lazy during these 9 months off. I was in the gym, staying in shape. Even whenever I got this call, I felt that I was already in great shape. My weight was already low. And it was just that I was ready to take a fight in April. It's just I had to wait for the UFC to book me and get me on one of these cards. As soon as that suspension was up, I was texting my managers, hey, let's go. Let's try to give me a fight. I'm hungry. I'm ready to get back in there. And, they were trying to work things out with UFC and Sean Shelby and the matchmakers and give me something. And finally did.
Thanks to the forced time off, how much better of a fighter are you now than when we last saw you back in July of last year?
Of course, I think I'm definitely gonna think that I'm a much better fighter. Every day that I get to spend in the gym, every bit of footage I get to watch, every day that I'm a professional fighter, I think I advance in experience. And, some of my losses in the past, I've made a lot of rookie mistakes, and I think I've really cleaned my game up and learned from those. So going into this fight, I feel like I got all the experience of a veteran mixed martial artist, and I'm going to try to fight this fight with mistake-free.
What do you make about this fight? You're taking on newcomer Raoni Barcelos. Did you know who he was when you got the call?
No, I wasn't really familiar with him. I went back and, watched a few fights of him. And, the guy's a good fighter. I can't say anything. Anybody that makes it to the UFC or fights on a professional level, the way I like to say it, if you don't bring your A game, anybody can win in that cage. Once the octagon door shuts, it's anybody's game. One mistake can cost you a fight, So I got to be careful. But at the same time, I know that I'm a better fighter than him. I know that I fought the harder and better, more experienced opponents than him. My resume is much longer than his on guys that I fought and beat. And I think I'm just going to be a little too much for this guy for his first fight. And he's also coming off of, I think, an ACL surgery or injury, and he hasn't fought in 2 years himself. So, like I said before, I don't think I'm the right opponent for him to be coming back off of an injury. And he came into the UFC as a 135er. I'm primarily a 145 or 155er. So I think all of the everything leads my way in advantages.
And you mentioned earlier that you don't think the time off will be much of a concern whatsoever.
No, I don't think so at all. Because I've been working hard in the gym every day, and it's not often, it is pretty common that guys have year layoffs. You know, a guy gets a small injury, he can be off for a year. You know, and like I said, I feel like being exactly 1 year from today or tomorrow that I'll be 1 year ago that I fought. It feels like it was just yesterday. So I'm not feeling any of the time off at all.
Where do you think you sit in the featherweight division with the win over Barcelos?
Well, with that being said, I believe that I should have been brought into the UFC more like Justin Gaethje or another guy that was a world champion on the outside. Just coming from Titan FC and fighting some of the guys that I did in Titan. Man, I fought Desmond Green. I fought J.G. Cavalcanti. I fought ex-UFC vets. So, and holding 2 titles in 2 different weight classes, I fought Andre Harrison, who's still undefeated till this day. I think I should have been brought in as a little bit more higher prospect than what I was brought in for. But, with the win, I think that I can definitely jump a bunch of spots in the ranks. Not hit the top 15 yet, but be a fight or two away.
So I guess to go off that, were you disappointed when you got the call to fight a newcomer and a guy you hadn't heard of at the time, and your placement on the card also, the first fight on the FS1 prelims, does that disappoint you or?
No, not at all. I like the matchup between Raoni Barcelos, and as long as I was on the Fox Sports 1 prelims, man, I just didn't really want to be on Fight Pass. I don't think I could have bitched and complained about it too much. Because, I'm still in the UFC, I still got my contract, and I feel like I'm here to do big things, and I will get that time to shine. But just being on the Fox Sports 1 prelims, doesn't matter first fight, last fight, I'm super excited about it. And, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put on the show and show everybody what I can do.
Why didn't you want to be on Fight Pass? I'm curious.
Just because, man, I think my last 7 or 8 fights have been on Fight Pass. I want something national. I want something on Fox Sports 1. I want something somebody's going to be able to see and talk about.
Just looking at your record, of course, you had the one UFC fight way back in April 2013, UFC 159. You're just days away now from your, I guess, UFC debut. How does this, leading up to it, days away, how does this compare to what you were feeling leading up to that Steven Siler fight?
Like I said, experience, man. Whenever I was here before, it was all like a dream. It was like it wasn't real. It was like one day I'm sitting at home and then the next day I'm fighting in the UFC. And doing it that quick, it just really wasn't real. I was still more in a fan-based state of mind. As if now, I've been here, done that. It's nothing new. It's another fight. I'll be making my 31st fight, including my 8 fights amateur. So, I got a lot of fights behind me. I've traveled the world. I've been to a lot of places. And, I feel like it's nothing new. I feel like it's just another fight. It's a huge fight, the biggest fight of my life. And there's only one thing left to do, and it's win.
Well, let's talk about that. How do you get the job done? It's UFC Fight Night in Boise, Idaho. This Saturday night, you're taking on Raoni Barcelos. How do you win?
Um, I think it's going to be a referee stoppage. I think I'm going to be too much fun. And if you watch the last couple fights, I think I'm going to pressure or push the pressure just like that. And this guy, he's going to break. Once I hit him with some big shots, he's going to wind up breaking. He won't be able to take the pressure. Maybe I'll get a takedown. Maybe I'll get him against the cage. And just, the referee's going to have to get in and stop it.
Awesome, Kurt. Great talking to you as always. Before I let you go, remind my audience where they can find you on social media, and if there's anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to, the floor is yours.
Absolutely, yeah. Follow me on Twitter at Holobaugh, also Facebook and Instagram, Kurt.Holobaugh. Definitely want to thank my sponsors, K-Ray Construction, Creole Tomato Monster Inc., my management team, Sucker Punch Entertainment, my team, Grace United Team, Dual South, all the guys that work with me and help me out during this training camp. Thank y'all, love y'all, and I'm going to bring home the win.